Welcome to In Her Voice, a podcast created for women who listen to and live by their deepest wisdom, their inner voice. This was made for you, the woman who feels pulled to more, to lead, to create, to dream, and to be a world changer. My name is Kelly Covert, and I am an inner voice coach. Join me here each week as we explore what it means to reach for your inspired potential, all while honoring your worthiness each and every day. Hello, this is Kelly, and you are listening to In Her Voice. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm in my studio this morning. It's fairly early, and the window is open, and the birds are chirping outside, and it rained a little bit this morning, so there's raindrops on the plant outside my window, and it just feels like a glorious morning. And you know what I've really been sitting with a lot lately, what has been on my heart to share with you guys, are the things that get in the way of us listening to our inner voice. And the first one that I want to talk to you about in regards to this is perfectionism. So you all know, and I proudly say that I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I have met so many women in the work that I do and in being out and about in the world that really struggle with this idea that they want everything to be perfect, that they feel like they need to perform at this level of excellence that is beyond what is humanly possible. And it puts a lot of pressure on women, and it really gets in the way, most importantly, of us listening to our inner voice. And, you know, perfectionism, I think, is another kind of voice. Perfectionism it's not just the actions of doing the things perfectly. It's the voice that says, that wasn't good enough. You can do more. Why did you give up? Why didn't you try harder? Okay, you did that. Now what's the next thing? How can you keep this going? All of that kind of talk. That kind of talk can really get in the way of us feeling like our actions are aligned with our soul's true purpose. And that's what our inner voice does. Our inner voice guides us to make choices that align us with how we want to truly be feeling and with who we truly are, with who we are and what we were meant to do on this earth. And, you know, I think that I see women all of the time hearing this voice in their head and feeling like that's their inner voice, that's the voice. It's almost like a coach, like you can do this, you've got this. But instead of being coaching in a positive way, it's coaching sort of in a negative, shaming way. And depending on how you were brought up or the culture, if you did sports or if you did music or whatever you did as a kid, you may have actually been parented or coached this way. And I hate to say it, but I think that there's a lot of this still going on where coaches and parents are motivating their kids through shame. And they're motivating their athletes through this idea that you've got more, there's more in you. And, you know, I do believe that there's more in you. But if that feeling makes you feel less than right now, we need to shift that, because that will hold you back. That will make you look at what you've done and say, that's not enough. And when we're always in the not enough mode, that's a scarcity mindset. We talk a lot about scarcity mindset in the self-development world in regards to money. But I would like to have a conversation about scarcity mindset when it comes to ourselves, when it comes to what we are doing, when it comes to giving ourselves credit for who we are in this moment. If we're living in a scarcity mindset when it comes to us, when it comes to you, that feels like I have to push harder. I always have to do more. There's no time for rest. There's another check to be checked off of the to-do list. And when we're never resting and we're never being here and loving ourselves now, it's really hard to connect with the inner voice that says to you, yes, you have more and you are enough today. And that is such a beautiful place to be in. So how do we begin to really win the battle against perfectionism? And I don't love to use analogies like this, but in this case, I feel like we really have to gird ourselves up and recognize the enemy of perfectionism. Because until we do that, it's so insidious. It's like so sneaky and so clever the way it can convince us that we are not enough. And it's so easy for us to buy into that because we've been living it for decades, right, ladies? So how do we battle this perfectionism? Well, first of all, we have to begin to discern the difference between our true inner voice, that loving guidance, that powerful wisdom from within, from the divine, from the perfectionism, from the voice that says you aren't enough, you have more, you need to do more, you need to keep going, you need to push, you need to overachieve, from that voice. And begin to understand the difference of, this sort of coaching voice that encourages us, that was weird, encourages us from a place of love versus the voice that pushes us through shame. There is a difference. And if you really get still and you start to listen to the different voices and you start to listen to the different thoughts that come into your mind, you'll start to see not all of them are loving. And that's how you begin to discern the difference between your true inner voice and between that inner mean girl voice, or between the world's voice. This is so important. And it really takes us being present to our thoughts. And when a thought comes up, we have to, instead of immediately believing it, question, get curious. Ask yourself, wait a minute, is this loving? Is this truly what I need right now? Is this coming from a place of wisdom and a place of worthiness inside of me? Or is this about a not enoughness? So get curious, ask yourself the questions. And, also get curious about the choices that you're making. And this comes to bear when you're looking back on your choices, right? So there's one point where we want to get where we're being present in the moment with the thoughts. But I think it's always worthwhile to look back and to evaluate a choice or a behavior or a decision that you made and say, where did that come from? What was that about? And get curious. Was that from a place of perfectionism? Or was that from a place of being aligned with your inner voice? And this is the thing. This is the key, you guys. Get curious without getting judgy, right? This is not an opportunity to say, oh, look what I did. Oh, there it is again. I did it again, right? That's judgy. No, this is about really allowing yourself to be curious about why. Why did I do that? How did that happen? How can I shift that in the future? And then be willing to call yourself out on it. Man, when I get stuck in perfectionism, you know what I do? I look at it and I'm like, oh, yep, there it is. And I laugh. And you know why I laugh? Because it shows me that there's still work to do, that I'm still on a journey, that I am not perfect at being imperfect. I am not perfect at being a recovering perfectionist. And it's so funny the way that it can just pop up. And when I allow myself to see it and I allow myself the grace to understand that it's okay and that I don't have to be perfect at it, then I can laugh and then I can learn. I can laugh at it and I can learn from it. And that is how we keep perfectionism from undermining our inner voice. We have to be present. We have to be in the practice of discerning the difference. We have to get curious about our thoughts that we're having in the present moment and about our behaviors that we've had in the past. And we have to be willing to lovingly call ourselves out on it, laugh at ourselves, and learn and go forward. And these are the steps that we do over and over and over again. These are the practices that we do over and over and over again. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes and the easier it becomes. But you must begin. You must begin. And this is where I want to share with you. You don't have to do this on your own. This is what I help women with. I help you with these steps. I help you with understanding where you are now and where you want to be. I help you with listening to your inner voice. If you're feeling a call to this, I want to say, let's chat. Let's have a discovery call. You can go to kellycovert.com/discovery. Sign up for a discovery call. It's totally free. We can talk about inner voice coaching for you so you can begin to listen to your true inner voice and lay your perfectionism aside day by day by day. It feels really, really good. Remember, when we start to do this, when we are aligning our behaviors and our choices with our true inner voice, that is when we are becoming who we were meant to be. And that is so important because we all matter. Every single one of you matters. And you stepping into your soul's true purpose is the most important thing that you can do. You are worthy.